Welcome back. This week, House Speaker Adrian Jones unveiled a package of bills aimed at minimizing race-based socioeconomic and health disparities. Some of the proposals include more equitable treatment applying for loans and credit, a program to assist first-time homebuyers afford down payments, several bills designed to assist minority businesses in the state procurement process, and a bill, finally, that would declare racism a public health crisis and require medical professionals to undergo bias training. Ron, governments are often criticized for picking winners and losers. Are the proposals that we just talked about discussed reasonable?
Look, I think anything we can do collectively to try to create parity across the board is a reasonable endeavor. I don't know the specifics of each bill that has been proposed, but I think that we do need to consider what it's been like and what it will look like going forward for minority business owners who can't or haven't been able to compete equitably for government contracts, for healthcare systems in underrepresented communities. We've seen during the COVID crisis that this has been a significant drain on our general population as a whole. Same thing with education opportunities, whether it's for college or parochial schools. Things that the public trust has been relied upon to provide sources of funds for, but there are segments of the population that have been excluded from actively participating in those endeavors. So I think to the extent that we can create parity, and if there are ways that we should at least consider amending the way we do things, we don't want to function in an old boy network system anymore, which is how we've been operating, for the vast amount of time. We need to have more parity, and someone at least needs to have the discussion about what we can do to make things better.
I think that's all fair. I think that's what people are looking for, is fairness. Laurie.
Yeah, I think we need to look at the details of these bills. It's very vague right now, what I've seen when Adrian Jones announced the initiatives. It concerns me about that there must be racial diversity by 2023 for certain companies that have like $1 million of state funds. Like that could end up hurting, if small companies that can't hire that many people, and I don't know how that's going to affect their ability to hire the right person for the job. If it ends up getting in the way of hiring the correct, person with the right abilities. So that really concerns me. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. So why is our state focusing a lot on this when really a lot of our focus should be on getting the vaccines distributed? That we are in a huge mess right now on how we're distributing our vaccines. That should be the number one priority right now.
Well, I was reading the other day in the Washington Post about Bomani Jones, who was a sportscaster for and commentator for ESPN. And he posed this question: what is the biggest impediment to race relations in America? And his answer was that white people not treating black people as being equal levels of humanity. Isn't that what we're really looking for, is that all races treat one another with humanity and dignity?
Of course, yes. That's what we all want. I think on both sides of the aisle, we all agree on that. I think it's how you get there is the difference. And, I do think there are needs in, that you have to do more to lift people who have been given the same opportunities as others. There has to be some way to help people, to give them education is the number one thing, in my opinion, to make sure every child has access to a quality education.
Yeah, but we operate in a society where money governs who has access. And without access to money or the ability to make money, many of these people in these communities are silenced. And if we have to first start looking at what the government is doing, whether it's the state or the federal government, to create parity, at least we can open up some doors that have been historically closed. I don't expect anyone to start removing contracts from small companies that have a limited number of personnel and don't have the ability to invite a more racially diverse workforce into their establishment. But those who do have the capacity should do so.
Okay, thank you, Ron. You got the last word on this.